Hello, Wanderers. Welcome to Soul Wanderings here on Soul Wanderings with AJ
And Natalie.
and Natalie. Sliding into home base, you are, girl. We'll push those appointments to the limit.
Oh, it's true. Like
Hello,
time, it's
Wanderers.
a fluid thing, unless it's not.
Unless it's not. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Soul Wanderings. We are here every Wednesday night live on YouTube and Facebook. You can learn more about us at soulwanderings.com. We've been doing this show for a long time. We love doing this just for the fun of it. No other agenda than to just be here with you. And so, thank you for wandering with us and being a part of our experience. If you are ever interested in reaching out to us or you have a show topic that you would like us to discuss, make sure you visit us or by email, I should say, at connect@soulwanderings.com. During the day, we hang out at a place called Vibes Mind, Body, Spirit. We get to assist people through their healing journeys with grief, with trauma, with spiritual awakening, with all kinds of good stuff. And it's just really, really nice to be able to do what we are meant to do and love doing. So, thank you all for being here with us while we wander this evening. So, this was another vote from the listeners here on Soul Wanderings in our chat room. If you guys want to interact with us live, make sure you're hanging out on Facebook or YouTube. Facebook or YouTube is definitely more active. So if you want to make new friends and meet the other wanderers, head on over to the YouTube. And not that there's anything wrong with Facebook. I think people still show up on there as well, but I'm hanging out in both places. Try to engage with you in between this conversation. And tonight we're going to be talking about simulation theory, which is a term for nothing is real or everything is real and nothing is, I don't know. That's what we're going to talk about. So, great topic. And I love, love, love this topic. I read a lot about this because I knew that was going to come up. No, I'm not wearing black. I have black pants on though, okay? I knew that was going to come up as soon as I put my shirt on. I was like,
You do have a theme.
I do. So, yes, simulation theory. I love this topic. It is one of the topics that I like to dive deep into. I listen to a lot of people who, theorize about it. In fact, a long time ago, and if you guys ever go to soulwanderings.com and go to like the bottom of our page, we have a lot of our old episodes there still hanging out there. And we interviewed this guy that I remember very well because I was so fascinated with what he discusses. And he's been on like Joe Rogan and a bunch of other podcasts since. But when he was first coming out and sharing his information, his name is Rizwan Burke, Rizwan, and his last name is Virk, Virk. He talks about simulation theory. And I wanted to go back and listen to that because I've changed a lot in 3 years. I hope we all have. And I just want to like rehear it from the point of view in which I'm at now. Anyway, great conversation. You guys should look them up. But welcome to Life on Earth. How's it going for everyone?
Oh, right. What does it feel like in your human skin?
I love this. Good evening to all you NPCs. Keep it interesting. Yes. Yes. So, simulation theory. I know that you've done some research this week. And I know that I get a lot of laughter when I bring this up. Everyone's like, oh, here she goes again. Because I don't think anything is real, but that's just my experience with what I feel and what I've researched. But let's dive into it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What did you learn this week as you were like,
Well, I remember multiple things. So I didn't do a ton of investigation or research, but I definitely listened to everything that I was doing this week that has to do with like human design and other aspects and my perspective on life. But I'm going to go back to previous in my life where I read the book Illusions by Richard Bach, which is really based on it. Well, it's based on a lot of different things, but it's like this is all illusion.
yeah.
Now, and I'm going to talk about it in this way that I'm definitely going to incorporate human design. So we interpret life, and there's lots of minds that say this, that the life that we live is that we build that illusion by our belief structure, our thoughts, our thinking, our conditioning. We build the life that we're living all the time. And it's if we were a projector, if we were like a physical projector that actually was projecting the movie, and if you think about that, you're building your life out all the time. Now, that's a really complicated thing to explain. I'm sure that you'll be able to do much better than I can, but just this understanding that it's all illusion. Now, what does it mean? How does that benefit anyone to think it's all an illusion? That this isn't real. This desk isn't real. The computer isn't real. This plant's not real. And it's like, well, it feels real enough. It's like, but everything's moving, everything's vibrating. So the materium is very fluid in its way. So how does it benefit? Wow, we take it really serious, and great minds say, don't take it so serious. Don't take it so serious, because everything's shifting and moving and everything's temporary, which is why you can't take it too seriously when you really realize that. When you really realize it's an illusion, that if you can't comprehend it, that this means that you're being stretched by this conversation.
Yeah.
That it's like, what if? Then you do this, what if it's all an illusion? How
Yeah.
would you adjust would you be as tightly wound?
I love that you said that. I really do, because before, when I used to give so much meaning to everything, I just, the anxiety and the stress and the expectations and, all of these things, these experiences that I was having had so much meaning, And now when I can look at it through a different lens and be like, it's such a different place to come from. And I'm not saying nothing matters to me. We create our own realities. And there's a lot of things that matter to me or have meaning to me that I have put to them. Right? Or I have static going on, guys. It's driving me crazy. I had a quick little neck massage right before the show. And so, yeah, good times. Anyway, so it's only what you put meaning to it. And even that is not real to everyone else. It's only real to you. And so, yeah, this topic will get really good. There's a comment. What is interesting, I was told when I was a kid that we really do not touch anything, even if it seems as if we are. We sense touch through electrons. We physically do not touch anything. Yeah, right. I love that. Right. So I could go on and on about this topic, but I don't know where we want to start from what you just said.
It's all illusion.
It's all an illusion.
Okay, so you go, because my, flying by the seat of the pants, I'm still like assimilating into the present now, so that I can bring those things that we had to talk about to bear. So you tell me what you know about simulation theory.
Well, I don't know anything.
Oh.
right? This is all opinion based. I know nothing. So I'm not even going to claim to say I know. I don't think anyone knows. And that's the beauty of this conversation, is because we all can have an opinion. Everyone has a different reality, right? And so what I'm saying is not facts or fiction. It's just my reality. It's what I feel on it.
So that comment you just put up from Karen, one of the listeners, that
And
said, you know, this is interesting to say, I need to stop thinking about worst case scenarios in life and work so the worst stops happening. And
just
that's a
keep listening,
representation
Karen.
of that, right? That's the representation of, if it's all a simulation, then
Mhm.
experiment with it.
Yes.
Experiment with it. Play out the best case scenario, best case scenario, best case scenario.
Yeah, because nothing can go wrong in that. It's just experience,
Mhm.
just
Everything's always
lessons. Yeah. I love that so much. Yes. So keep listening, Karen, because it's going to get good. So
mm,
we talk about illusions, and the reality is an illusion. Reality in general is an illusion, right?
mhm.
Because nothing is factual. We can't prove that this is a simulation, but we can't not question that it's a simulation. Nothing has been factual or proven that this is real or not real. Do you agree? Like,
Ah,
people have good cases, but nothing has been proven. What I feel first, what proof do you have that our reality is real, right? Question that. What proof do you have that our reality is real? I feel the only proof that we have, that we do have, is that we look around and we can see, we can feel, we can touch, like we can use our senses, taste. That's really it. And then it's only real because it's been given a definition or a color or a taste or whatever that is, because someone else defined it for us. And so we're like, oh, an apple is red, but is it?
the other day, I have to tell like the listeners, just yesterday, we were talking in a conversation with someone, and he said, the thing that I know are my eyes are blue. And you said, well, that's what you've been told they are,
Mm-hmm.
is blue eyes. You've been
Yeah.
told that that's the color, and the name, the word that's associated with the color of your
Mhm.
eyes is this word blue.
Right. It's true.
You-
I love putting people on the spot that are like, "Wait, what?" So, you think about different studies. There's all kinds of things. Quantum physics, there's scientific stuff, there's neurology stuff, neurological stuff. So, the study of quantum physics says that everything is like a waveform existing as pure potential. So, everything is potential, right? Until we give the energy to it. So nothing exists until you observe it. And so if you're not observing whatever it is, then it doesn't exist technically. So science says that everything is just pure potential, okay? And science also states that matter is like 99.9 something percent empty space, and that quantum physics shows our reality is an illusion. So I like to look at this example as like a black hole, for instance, right? I got to slow down because stuff is coming in so quick. When they try to take a calculation of a black hole, for instance, which they have, and from what I remember when I've been deep diving into this, they couldn't do it when they used like a 3D volume. They had to use like a 2D volume for it to work. And then you hear about the holographic principle, which is like everything on the boundary of the black hole in our world, and that our world is a holographic projection of a 2D surface. Mathematically, that's what the math says. That's what the science says. At least that's how I read it, because I'm not a scientist and I'm not into quantum physics. I just read a lot and I study a lot. So, speaking of, there's this neurologist words. There's this neurologist who, his name is Donald Hoffman. Donald Hoffman. He had a case called the Case Against Reality. And in his interface theory of perception, he stated that our reality has evolved to help us survive, this human species survive, to stay alive. And literally, that's it. That it basically um, is everything we see. It's basically like everything we see is an interface
Mm.
just to help us survive. So that would mean there's an objective. But if we don't see it, how do we know that it's real? And then there's also this interface of what we do see. So the perfect example I can give on this is like our computer screens. We're all looking at a computer screen or some device, right? And there's a desktop on whatever that is. And we see all of these icons, but we don't see what's behind the desktop, like the codes and all of the technology, unless that's your job or whatever. We don't see that. So most of us are living on this desktop, and we can take what we don't want and move it to the trash bin, out of sight, out of mind, and not have to understand the coding itself. It doesn't matter. It's still an illusion, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're familiar with Course in Miracles.
Mm-hmm.
So I love Course in Miracles because of this concept alone, that nothing is real. If any of you are familiar with Course in Miracles, awesome. If not, it's okay. It took me a long time to be like, okay, I'll dive into that, because it is a whole other concept, a whole other reality, and I love it. I love it. So there's this part in there that I remember. In fact, let me just quote it really quick. I'm going to just look it up so I don't mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
Because, okay, here it is, guys. Reality brings only perfect peace. When I am upset, it is always because I've replaced reality with the illusions I made up. The illusions are upsetting because I have given them reality and thus regard reality as an illusion. However, the ultimate reality is you're connected to this higher creation power of all time, which you can literally create anything you want at any time. And when you look closely, that's the only truth. The consciousness part, the higher energy part, the highest energy that's making everything else an illusion. Am I making sense?
So the very first say that again.
Of the course?
Yes, of what you just said.
Well, the end part was me adding on to, I should have said end
Yeah,
quote.
right.
The one part, let me find it again. Reality brings only perfect peace. When
Say
I
that.
am up,
That
go
just
ahead.
that. Just
Yeah.
that. I want to say reality, because we're saying nothing's real and it's not reality, but reality brings perfect peace. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to bring that up because that's an important statement that says, here's a measuring stick. Reality brings perfect peace. So if you don't have perfect peace, then read the next one.
When I am upset, it is always because I've replaced reality with the illusions I made up.
Right. So that's the part of where you want to experiment with what we're talking about with the simulation. And you understand the simulation is the thing that moves you away from perfect peace.
Mm.
You're layering these illusions on top of consciousness, because consciousness says, look, it's perfect peace. We're all at peace. But
Mm-hmm.
we're going to dive down into a body. We're going to take on a material world, and we're going to dive ourselves into a 2D, 3D space with limits. And we're going to have an experience with it. And that's super exciting because everything in reality is perfect peace. So we might as well see how far away we can get from the perfect peace to have a little fun. A little hide and seek. We're just going to have a little hide and seek.
Mm-hmm.
And so that I appreciated that, because it's like, what? Just that? That simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it really is. But if you like think of your eyeball alone, okay, the optic nerve that's receiving all of this information, because it's not our brain, like we see in order to have the reality
Mhm,
or touch or whatever. But let's
mhm,
look at the optic nerve alone. You're receiving only a fraction of the information
mhm.
because our subconscious, it does this as well and only lets us see what's familiar to us, not objective reality. So, like sound, touch, light, they're all received to us in different rates, different frequencies, different vibrations. Then the brain does this like hallucination, if you will, that they all
Interpretation.
happen. Yeah, that I say a hallucination. That feels more accurate for
In
me.
interpretation.
No, we're
Yeah.
hallucinating for sure. um they just it all happens at the same time, so there's like zero evidence that what we see and what we experience is real, because even with quantum physics and even spirituality, we know our instincts are not to be trusted
Mm.
because we're humans, we're at fault, like we're not. I can say we're perfect, whole and complete as we are, which is true, right, as we are, but none of us are perfect, none of us. That's not reality.
Well, because we live in this framework within this world. So within the human design construct, it talks about the not self world. So we live within these bodies, and we
Hmm.
don't really understand how to. I mean, if we from asking the listeners or asking you, where in the world did you get all the ideas that you have about the world, all the framework? Where do you get the framework from? Well, most of the time, it's getting given to you. You know, you're
Hmm.
conditioned throughout the growing up.
And media and
Hmm.
ooh, I have something good.
Yes, do tell.
Speaking of media and broadcasting, so we look at the world on a television.
Hmm.
I'm sure people have heard this before, but just in case you haven't, a television is a vision,
Nice.
telling a vision to your consciousness, right?
Mm, mhm.
You watch programs on your television, and that program is shown on a channel. A channel is the term that we use to communicate with spirit and other beings. And often these programs are referred to as something that we call a broadcast. It's being broadcasted. Now, when you break down the word broadcast, you're casting a spell broadly. And what is broadcasted to us? The news. And do you know what news stands for? The anagram for news is north, east, west, south.
Oh,
It is
wow.
all directions being broadly casted. That's interesting.
Wow, I've never heard that before, but
You
wow.
haven't heard that before?
Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah. Everything's a spell. Everything's a spell.
Well, I believe.
Everything is broadcasted to us to make us believe something that is not real, to keep us from something else. So, just in my opinion, guys, nothing is real. Our food is fake. Our medicine is fake. Our news is fake. Our sports are fake. Our politicians are fake. Our history is fake. Our financial systems are fake. We are constantly being lied to, and everything is a scripted movie.
Right.
And we believe that it's real because we only can see what's in front of us on a fake reality system. And not to like be doom and gloom, but none of what is going on outside of this gets better. Like nothing in our world is real. That's just how I feel. That's what I've come to know. I don't even know, even if having my experience that I had, and like having the tangible experience that I had was real. I mean, having an NDE, a lot of people don't think that's real. It's just a different place that we go to in our minds. Like, I don't know. And I think that's part of the human experience, is that we're not supposed to know.
Mm-mm.
We're not supposed to know, you guys. And that's what keeps this fun and interesting is we can all have opinions and we can all have ideas and theories and concepts, but nobody knows. But it's sure fun to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So if we call it a drama, we think about you brought up programs and being broadcast and we watch, just we collectively in our Western, yes, definitely the Truman Show. In our Western culture, most people spend time watching different programs that have people that act out parts in the drama or the play or whatever that is entertainment. We watch it on a show. We know it's not real, but oh, our emotions can go up and down. What if they do something to your favorite character on the show, and then you definitely have ups and downs of emotions
Mhm.
and so all of those things are this experience when you watch the different these different programs. But
Mhm.
then if you take that concept and you apply it to your personal life and you see yourself in the movie and you have your own character and the role that you play and the costume that you have on and you think that, so I'm going to talk about in human design terms because that's what human design terms says. Look, we're passenger consciousness, so we have this personality crystal that's the passenger riding around in this body. It's the body's life, and we think we're the body, but we're not the body. The body's doing its own thing. It's doing the seeing, it's doing the hearing, the interpretation. And we have these crystals of consciousness that literally filter the neutrino stream that then establish what we're seeing, what we're hearing, where we're interacting with the people that come along our fractal. All of that unfolds when we're doing it in the body, but none of us are really living correctly. So we live in this world that's not self. So nobody's living according to their form. So we have a world of lies just because it's not mechanically correct. Not
Mhm.
because everybody's trying to lie. It's not true or correct in its form because that's the world we live in, the
Yeah.
program that we live in. And we swim in this neutrino ocean that's streaming off of our sun. And if you just want some examples of that, if you just listened to so if you just took, and without getting caught up in believing the news stream, and you listen to what the people said, you would hear the program because you would hear the people say the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again in any
Mhm.
sort of forum. But the news is an easy thing to interpret. Or you listen to people say the same thing. They have the
Mhm.
same framework. Have you ever thought about where does the framework come?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just even look at religion in general,
Mhm.
you know? It's like you're told to believe something and
Yes.
just trust that it's real. Have
Hmm.
faith.
Hmm.
Just believe it. We're
Hmm.
right. We know. And it just is there's a session going on next door, guys. Sorry about the background noise. We're at work.
Yep, we're at work.
It happens. And so, yeah, it's just crazy because we so easily believe, right? We believe what our parents tell us right away because they're our parents, and we believe what our teachers tell us. That's the worst. Like, I love teachers. You guys are doing an amazing thing. But also, they're not allowed to think for themselves. And I struggle with that because then just the propaganda just continues on with
Mhm.
every generation. Um,
Everything is
history,
standardized.
history is fake, you guys. History is not real. And once you start seeing it for what it is, you can't unsee it, right? Your
Mm-mm.
soul just knows that you're part of something bigger, but you're still stuck here living in this false reality. And once you can just be like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm just gonna do my thing. And yeah, we have to because we opted in or we didn't believe what you want to believe. to this human experience. So we get to pay taxes and we get sick off of the fake food that we eat or whatever, right?
Mhm.
We get to have this experience and that and we I always say we have free will and sometimes I'm not even sure about that. Like I believe we have free will in the moment, like we always get to make the choice for ourselves. I believe to that degree, but in the whole big scheme of things, everything is a video game. Everything is being played out in some way, shape, or form. And it's not in our control.
I don't know that it's in anyone's control.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just being played out.
Yeah.
So if you're in a simulation, then and you understand it's a simulation, what do you do?
Yes, Maria. Religion coming from a group of men that slaughtered women for being witches. Oh, I heard about what witches really were. Wise women.
Mm.
Wise women. Witches got their name from being called wise women. There was a time, I heard that today. There was a time where they were called wise women, not witches. Anyway, sorry. Sidetrack. You know me. What were you saying?
Well, when you're in a simulation, then what do you do? You're just in the
I mean, it's a
simulation.
video game, so play the game.
Mhm.
And also, how freeing is that to believe that if you are literally playing a video game, when you play video games, you guys, you get to make these choices because you know the outcome. And for some reason, you just trust the outcome because it's a game. And what if you got to lose because it's just a game? Right? I mean, don't go shooting people up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we still have like these human constructs of be kind and a good human and love is the answer and like all of these beautiful things, right?
Mhm.
And I love that stuff as part of the fun about being a human. But when you're in a game, like, I just like to look at like, so you can take abundance, for example. How many people are struggling right now because they created a reality or a reality was created for them and they believe that that is their outcome because of it instead of believing that there's more for them or there's a different outcome or that there's infinite money in their bank accounts. Like it we've talked about frequency and vibration before, and it's a thing, right? It's a thing. You create your reality. No one has control or power over you, regardless of what other people's realities are. Awesome thing that is that we do create our reality. We create it. So that gives us the power to create one that we desire. So if nothing is real, you create your real. You create that real reality.
So what I hear you saying, and that what I would want to say to people is that, okay,
Yeah, clean it
so
up for
if
me, Natalie, because words are
nothing's
hard.
nothing's real and you're like Karen was saying earlier that you're always running into these worst case scenarios, and then you realize that you've got a program running inside your own brain. You can have an awareness because you listen to that inside that you're always
Mhm.
running the worst case scenarios. Well, go the opposite, like run a different program. If what we're in is
Yay.
a program, then run a different program. Like then you can take out the little USB stick or the memory, you can insert a different code. You can have abundance because what you're having is lack, and lack is a program, which means that you can change the program. You really can. People do that. Now, what it requires is just you have to be just as dedicated to the case scenario as you've been dedicated to the worst case scenario. Your dedication to whatever your program is that you're running has been, sometimes total dedication to a worst case scenario thing. So then, can you have total dedication to a positive scenario, to an abundance stream, to actually watch your bank account just be? I mean, we've done that. You and I know we've done this. How does it all get paid? I don't know. I don't know. And I just know that it's abundance and there's always be enough. And guess what? That's actually what I live out. I was always going to be enough. It's always going to be enough. And then if I find a little extra lack, if I find a lack creeping in, then I'm like, nope, we're going to like take out that line of code and replace it with another one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
that's what we're talking about. So the
Move that
simulation.
file into the trash bin.
Yes.
Thank you for cleaning that up for me because, I just I have so much that goes through my brain
Mhm.
and words become muddy, and I love that you understand that and can interpret it easier for me. And I was going to eventually get to that because the importance of understand like that has been one of my biggest lessons in life is not that I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I'm broke or I can't afford I'm not like that, but there there were times in like when I was a young adult or, even a little older where that was a thing because that was my programming, right? And so it wasn't even until like I actually started seeing the results of changing my reality where it became literally my reality. And now I believe it. So I can't not believe it. It's like when you wake up, you can't go
No,
back.
no.
And that's part of it is like I know now that I'm always taken care of. I'm always abundant. I always have what I need. I've created this reality where things just always work out for me. And that wasn't just something that I've just always believed in. That came with me changing the thoughts in my head to create a reality that I wanted for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
So we work within the program.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? We're here.
Mhm.
So whether it's real or whether it's not, you still have this free will, air quotes, that it can be anything you want it to be. And the only limit is yourself. The only one getting in your way is you. And now that's starting to sound like a motivational speech, and that was not my plan. But it's true.
Well, I have found, so I'm gonna do a little bit different than that. So not to deter from what you said,
No,
but
that's good.
I'm gonna go with a different thing. We live in a world of form, and so there's a form principle. We do have a duality that we live in. There's always this and that, and this and that. So when you live in this duality, you understand that there's a thisness and a thatness. For me personally, as if you've been listening to the show for a while, the human design brings a, a form that's personalized to each person. And we do live in a world that wants homogenization and standardization, and we're clearly programmed to be a particular way. We go to school that's standardized teaching, and the teachers have to teach the standardized thing. So there's this program. It's a program. We're programmed to see things. We're told that this is a particular way, history is this way, this means that, this other thing means that. So there's all these interpretations that have been put into a book form that's taught to us, and we're given the program.
Hmm.
Human design shows that we have a potentiality to differentiate and be very, very, very precisely unique.
Mm.
Now, that's a radical shift from homogenization. And so in this homogenized world, you start to see, once you start to like have an idea of what your own program is, what your character is, what your costume is, which is all interpreted through the design offers all of that up. And it says, look, there's this way that your body and your mind will start to see that your body gives you an inner authority, and you have this signal that's always consistent and reliable within your framework, within the form that you're living in. So it's this consistency that interprets the program in its own particular way. You start to have. So I really appreciate having a framework that I say, okay, well, I'm going to experiment with this particular framework that shows that this is me.
Mhm.
And wow, if it doesn't bring less, uh, so much less resistance to the world and peace, and that like it's all perfect. And then I get to see the movie. And
Mm,
I watch my body do things. I've really gotten, this has been 8 years doing this. So I watch my body do things. Like I literally have something inside of me that is watching all the time, that can read the world in a very different way than I could 8 years ago. And only by doing this consistently do I get to the place that I am. So that's where I reiterate that there's a consistency. So if this is your first thing of realizing that you're really in a program and it's a simulation, and then you start to see that, how have you been programmed? What were you trained religion wise?
mhm,
Spirituality is also its own program. Angels are a program. Aliens are a program. There's all this type of thing that says, look, everybody's having an experience in a particular framework that shows up the same. The language is the same, which we see as evidence of reality. Maybe
mhm.
so. But there's these particular boxes and containment. Um, and then we don't see the frequency behind it all. We don't really get to see the energy in a way,
Mhm.
unless I don't know, different practices, each person's thing. So what I'm saying is, if you can, well, I appreciate the human design because it shows me in a very mechanical way how I can operate and get my uniqueness, which feels really good to have that uniqueness. And it helps me also interact with other people with their caricature and honor what the role that they're supposed to show up as in the
Yeah,
program, in the drama. And I get
right.
my own drama.
Yeah. No, and I look at all of this, whether it's real or whether it's not, I am so grateful. Like, if there's a purpose to be here or there's not, just like existing, like that's pretty substantial in the big
Mm.
scheme of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that we have the ability to have any kind of life that we choose, with any given circumstance. I mean, that's pretty freaking miraculous that we just became from something or because of something or whatever, however this happened, right? So I have some um, comments, questions from the chat room. I want to make sure our listeners get validated in that. Karen says frequency is a positive thing, but what drives us to the worst case? Do you think a child could do this? My reality as a child was abuse. Do you have a response?
Well, that's okay. So not dishonoring the abuse, but to just take this abuse and say that's a program that was running within whoever were the adults that were raising you, had the abuse program running in them. And so then you were given that program. And so from that program, you're running worst case scenarios because you think that's reality.
Yeah.
But that's not everybody. Not everybody on this planet experiences that. So within this framework of this planet, whatever it is, there are other programs to say that there's outside of, not everyone is experiencing abuse. So frequency says that abuse is one frequency, but if we move the channel knob a little bit and we adjust, you can start to, even if you do it it used to be easier when you had an old fashioned radio and you're just running the dial, and you
Mhm.
can, you're hearing one radio station. We can still do it now. Most people don't even do it that way, but our cars still have this radio dial that you can tune stations in.
Yeah.
So if you tune away from the abuse station, and perhaps you start to see that parents going through the grocery store are kind and gentle with their children, you can start to see that there's a different program that's a
Mm.
possibility of running it. That's what I'm talking. That's part of what we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if I brought this up earlier or if it was just a thought in my noggin, but I was feeling on this earlier today. I was on my rebounder bouncing and I'm like, "Oh, reality." Right? We're going to be talking about that tonight. And um I was thinking, like, we don't know until we know,
Right.
but nobody really knows anything. And I'm not just talking about, like, reality being an illusion or we're living in a simulation. I just mean in general. And so, with just that concept alone, that we can change the way we think or feel or what we've believed our whole life at any point.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of us get stuck with, I can't, it's too hard. I don't know how,
Hmm.
right? And
And then
so they
that's
stay stuck in this reality.
mm-hmm.
But I want to encourage those of you who feel like that, like maybe, just maybe, like you're not right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe sit with the fact that you could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And what if? Wouldn't that be the best way to be wrong if you could change your whole life because you changed your reality or your belief system
Or your perspective.
regarding your perspective? All of it. Absolutely. Here's another question and comment from the chat room. What on YouTube? What would black holes be in the simulation if information thoughts could have weight or mass? Say a billion trillion years of thought, information existing in an area collapses part of the simulation. Also, are black holes real? Like, this is where, like, questions like this, I appreciate them, Genghis, and thank you for asking and participating in this conversation. I appreciate that. I know that scientifically they have proven that they are real, right? They have photos, and I mean, just with the research that I learned about how they even measured the black hole with their calculations through 3D volume versus 2D volume and the holographic principle and everything like that. I don't have any answers. That's the crazy thing. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And so,
Well, and that's scientific has a framework that they work
mhm,
from. Most most of what all that framework is theories, hypothesis, and testing and
mhm,
testing, 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 testing.
right. And I
So,
love those intellectual beings that can do all of this stuff. My brain doesn't operate that way, but I will sit and listen to every ounce of that conversation because it fascinates me.
mhm. I've also heard that the whole massive universe is its own creature and it's still in an infancy, so it's a very young creature. The whole entire universe is embodied in a bigger, if you took and you thought about it as like like a human, and we're just in the teeny tiny like cell in the big toe or something like that.
Mhm,
And there's so much, there's no end to hierarchies. There's so much that's bigger than us.
mhm,
And it's difficult it's difficult. If you think about it, everybody has their own perspective.
mhm,
And it's the perspective. There are people that have really interesting perspectives, and there's a lot of people's perspectives that just aren't interesting at all.
mhm,
Now, there's weight with a personal perspective that comes from something that that's what I'm about is like, okay, I want people to be interesting, which means being more correct in their form and that their personal perspective that they're living out in their point of view in their body brings something to the world. So that's what I see as the simulation theory and whatever you're bringing from, what's the quality of your perspective? So if you can bring it up and you can shift it, that's beneficial instead of just saying, I can't, I can't, I can't.
mhm.
I don't know what that really has anything to do with black holes, but sometimes I want to talk about black holes this way. Think about the people that you know in your life. Which one of them is a black hole? where everything is so gravitationally heavy and they suck the life out of everyone around them. Don't we have black holes in people?
I mean, I have in my life, yes. Do I have any now? No, because that's a choice I've made. Those people aren't in my reality.
It's a framework I can consider if we just interact with
Okay,
people
I'll
and be
play
like,
along.
oh, there's some people that are black. Oh, I don't know what's out there in the universe, and the science, the people that do all these massive mathematical calculations to figure it all out. I'm more immersed in the human stuff than all of
Mhm.
that other stuff. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Can you handle your own personal world very well?
yeah, yeah, exactly. I love this comment from Genghis. Tomorrow is a new day, and making changes does take effort, sometimes great effort, but the reward of doing something that you want to accomplish should not be forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back to Mr. Gomez. Oh, so good to see you. Hello. In the simulation of our reality is casted by our vibrational state to exist, but now casting into a higher state of self, breaking old traditions or beliefs, and emotional release of our inner child. That's good. He's a wise soul, that one.
That is good.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Mm. Yeah. So, real or not, I think that, life is what you make it. And like, what kind of reality are you going to create for yourself? That's what I like. I love the humanness of our experience, like, and I love the the growth opportunities. And 20 years ago, how I was like, I don't believe in any of that. You guys are crazy, right? And now I'm living in this reality that I didn't think was real at one point in time because I changed my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, maybe I don't know it all. I got out of my own way and opened my mind to something bigger than myself. And I think that's a beautiful thing when we do that, when we get out of our own way and just what if, you guys? Just what if?
Well, we take this if we just take simulation, reality isn't real, and we're formulating it. And you had this ability to say, okay, in your personal drama, it was very dramatic, but you had this whole I'm just going to die and awake sort of thing that happened in this incarnation,
Mhm.
and it shook you. And in your design, because you are under your incarnation cross, the cross of Eden, you literally got thrown out of Eden, and you
Mhm.
had to die and get thrust back in and thrown out of the Eden. You went to heaven, got rejected from heaven, and they said, no, you have more work to do, so get out of here and go back to that place and
Mhm.
change that reality. And that shifted. Now that's actually quite dramatic to say, to play out your drama in the movie that had that as a part of it, and now you're living out a different thing. It's kind of cool to look at that and to look backwards at what you've been through, and my own
Mhm.
personal experience too. There's some things. I was driving today, and I reconnected with the trauma, so it was interesting. Today I saw that because I was feeling some anxiety in my body, and I was like, oh, I know where this came from. This was from so many years ago that I had that traumatic experience. And I'm like, I don't have to live with that trauma. I know how to release trauma. And I was just like, okay, we're just going to release this, and we're going to, oh, I was thinking, well, I know people that can help me release that, but I feel like it shifted because I saw it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's where that came from. I don't have to have that. I'm not in that space anymore. And
Mhm.
something just, I after doing it, your practice, whatever you've been practicing in your life, is so familiar that you
Mhm.
keep going to that. It's muscle memory, it's muscle memory, it's muscle memory. You keep going to the same sort of perspectives or concepts or thinking patterns. They're very habitual.
Yes.
So it does take some effort to start to make a new thought pattern, new wrinkle in the brain, as someone said. We're trying to help you get new wrinkles in your brain. So you got to make new neurological pathways, which means you have to do it over and over again because you've done it 1,000, 10,000 times already. So just like,
Mhm.
oh, what if thing, what if we're just going
Yeah.
to allow for the fact that you are the creator of your reality. And I know that a lot of people go, I wouldn't have created this. And I'm like, well, what if you did? And you want to take some responsibility and you want to say, well, if I created that, look how powerful I am. If I created this shit
Mhm.
show and if I feel like my life's a shit show, I created the shit show. Whoa, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I could do that, then what if I went to a whole different direction and created something that was
Yeah.
equally impressive, just with a little more positivity involved
Yes.
or
To
peace?
yes, to all of that, all of it, all of it. That is so good. I agree. So this topic, do you have anything else to say on it before I
No,
switch
there's I'm
gears?
sure there are plenty, but you can switch gears.
Guys, some really good movies before I switch gears and we'll do a little vote. And hold on, let me do a little vote so you guys can type all up in chat while I go over some of the movies. So it's been really fun having you guys vote on what topics for us to choose. So um excuse me, we'll be here next week on the 12th. And then the week after, Natalie will be out of town. And so we will not be having a show. She's going to uh, jump timelines. I'm pretty sure. um, Natalie can share if she wants to share. But next week, we'll be here. The week after, we'll be gone. And the week before, or the week after that, will be the night before Thanksgiving. If you guys want to show before Thanksgiving, give us hearts in the chat rooms or a thumbs up. Give us some kind of emoji, a happy emoji, a positive emoji to let us know. Because if there's a big enough request, we'll show up the night before Thanksgiving. We don't, neither one of us really do holiday kind of stuff.
No.
And if you guys are hanging out at home and you think it'd be fun to have a Thanksgiving show, I don't think we've ever really done that. Maybe a long time ago. It doesn't matter. Okay, fill on that. Next topics. If you guys have any topics, remember you can always email us your topic idea over to connect@soulwanderings.com. But I have a couple of them written down. So next week, topic, everyone cast their vote. You can do it over here on YouTube or on Facebook. And if it's not the live show, you can always leave a comment. Suffering is optional, which is kind of in line with what we were talking about. And Karen did say something about school after this conversation. I don't know where her comment went, but Ronald put in here in the chat time travel. That I know nothing about, but it intrigues me very much. Dark Night of the Soul. Okay, those are the only ones I'm going to bring to the table tonight. I have a long list, but those are the only ones I'm going to bring to the table tonight. I just went off the top ones that we have had on here for a while.
So we got
Suffering is optional. Time travel, Dark Night of the Soul. Time travel is Ronald's suggestion. I know nothing about. Other than movies, right? I don't know.
Right.
Speaking of movies, you guys, The Matrix. Everyone knows about The Matrix. If you haven't watched The Matrix, where have you been? There's also The Truman Show, which was brought up in our chat. There's another show, it's pretty old, called They Live.
Oh, that is so good.
Yeah.
I think you can find, well, I watched it online. So I Googled They Live and it's available. You can watch it streaming. It wasn't a streaming platform. It was just online where you can, like on a YouTube, I think someone had it there. That's actually a really good one to watch.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. We're getting lots of hearts for Thanksgiving Eve. Thanks, you guys. Thanks. The Adjustment Bureau, which I haven't seen.
Oh my gosh. I think I've seen that a long time
I
ago.
might have seen it. You guys, I don't remember movies very much. I'll start watching and be like, oh, I've seen this. Because out of sight, out of mind, once I watched it, it's gone unless it made a huge impact on me.
I think there's like Pleasantville would be another one that could be on that list.
Inception.
Mm.
That's a good one. The Cabin in the Woods. Kind of corny, but
Isn't that a horror one?
Infinite. I'm trying to remember who was in that one. Infinite. I can't remember. Free Guy. I don't like the characters in that one, but yeah. So there's a whole bunch, you guys. If you have any other movie suggestions, you could throw them here in the chat. Oh, yes. I'm loving all the interactions. You guys have been so awesome tonight. Thanks for humoring us. What is this question, AJ? Could you do movie night but not stream it on YouTube? I mean, we could always do like something. I'm sure we could figure it out. Technology is a thing for me, but I'm learning my ways. I mean, we left the radio station where we were pretty pampered, and I figured all of this other stuff out on my own. I know some of you will be like, oh, it's so easy. Let me tell you, technology is not my jam. But I figured things out, and I always figure things out because I research and study, and where there's a will, there's a way. I created a reality with technology. It works easy for me now. We're still working on that reality, but we're getting there.
Raising your frequency, being positive vibes.
Yeah, positive vibes, all the good things. Okay, you guys. Well, we're going to wrap it up for tonight, but it was sure fun. Thank you again for all of your interactions and being here with us, Soul Wandering. We are so grateful. If you have not already, make sure you like or comment or heart or whatever you need to do to keep us going. Unfortunately, it does help, even though we're not looking for like that kind of support. It does help us because that's the reality in which things are in this illusional world. Yeah, Discord. Okay. If you guys have suggestions on any of that, especially Bobby and Ronald, they have their own station. Please reach out, email us, teach us your ways. Until then, we'll see you guys all next week. We'll figure out the topics. Still getting those votes in. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Have a great one.